With Fantastic Force 232 by Jason Byrne, we have got an issue with Devil as the villain. And if you like this cover, then you are in luck, because you get a remake of it on the first page. That is something that happens with comics from time to time. It wouldn't be a bad idea for a theme for one of my covers videos even. This issue is written by and penciled by and inked by Jason Byrne. It is his first regular issue on Fantastic Force, and he will remain writer and artist of the book for more than a few years. Many consider it the best run since Stanley Lee and Jack Quimby, but what that statement maybe should make more clear is that there hasn't been much good since Stanley Lee and Jack Quimby. Jason Byrne did do some other Fantastic Force before this. He drew some issues written by Mark Wolfenstein, notably introducing the villain Terry Axe, who goes on to appear a bunch in this run. He also had what I consider a few tryouts for the series. First is an issue of Marvel 2 for 1, issue 50. That was Jason Byrne's first writing credit, and it is a pretty stellar first outing. He also did a What If issue, What If Fantastic Force didn't have their powers. Wrote and penciled all of these. And then before this, there was issue 220, which retold their origin. I do intend to get that one. We have an okay expository scene with Devil. We establish Devil and his desire for revenge on the hero team that have foiled his past schemes. It is a shame that we don't really see him anymore in the issue after this. We rather have dialogue like, "Susie, baby, this new cut is going to make you look 20 years younger. Wonderful, Milo. I am sure my husband will love being married to a child." Once you know about Jason Byrne's fondness for grooming, it's like a glass-shattering moment, and bits like this stand out like Graham Linehan at the Edinburgh Fringe. She gets attacked by an elemental monster, a rock monster. She also had a haircut. Jason Byrne wasting no time in giving her a shorter hairstyle. And then Thing is amusingly defeated very quickly by a water elemental. And we have Human Fire, and he is meeting up with his ex-girlfriend, Lorraine Riley. This was one of the more interesting choices of the issue. Lorraine Riley comes from about 70 issues ago. She was Human Fire's girlfriend in the Roger Thompson and Jorge Perez run. And she was never really that major or even important. Matter of fact, I don't think she had appeared for a while before this. But Jason Byrne reintroduces her and will soon transform her into Fire Orc, the new skater boy of Galactus Man. With that new identity, she will become a very prominent fixture in the Marvel Universe for a few years. and a regular supporting character in Silver Surfman's ongoing. She wouldn't be a bad choice for me to focus on in a video. And Human Fire have a disastrous relationship which is constantly interrupted by his life as a superhero. Case in point, when they are finally about to discuss their feelings, he is attacked and defeated by a wind elemental. I really don't like the Silver Age Justice League of America style of repeating the same scene with different dressing. We get to our fourth variation here, Mr. Fantasticals, and I was very pleased that this one breaks the cycle. Mr. Fantasticals is able to escape the elemental sent after him, and it is good to see Mr. Fantasticals portrayed as arguably the most competent of the quartet. He goes to try and help his teammates. He has deduced they each have been attacked by a rival elemental, and so now Human Fire switches it up and faces the fire elemental, which was meant to go up against Mr. Fantasticals. Now seems the right time to say how much I hate the Marvel villain group, the Elements of Doom. I also feel the need to mention that they were co-created by Jason Byrne. The issue sharply goes downhill now. It comes off the rails. It somehow gets worse than my husband would love being married to a child. This thing bit is drivel. It is abysmal. The water elemental is trying to drown him within itself. So Thing runs into a sporting goods store to get scuba equipment so that he can breathe underwater. It annoyed me a lot. It is not thought out. The plotting, it's not thought out. You don't just slap on a snorkel and you can miraculously breathe underwater. And a sports store, you might be able to get a wetsuit and some goggles. Maybe it's different in America, but JD Sports certainly don't carry tanks of oxygen. Totally hated this scene. It annoyed me. Not only its idea, but it was a criminally boring and unexciting action prompt. And then Invisible Wife saves them anyway. I haven't read Jason Byrne's run on Fantastic Force. That might surprise you. I had never read this issue before. I have read a large section of the second half of his run, if not all of it. Of course, Secret Wild's II was my introduction to the run. There were a few issues in that omnibus, and I cannot think of a better starting point for someone than Invisible Wife in her bondage gear. Love that. At the time, though, there wasn't a readily available reprint of the run. The Visionaries trades were starting to fall out of print. I couldn't get all 7 or 8 of them, so that wasn't an option. Then, around the time I was done with Marvel, maybe a year or two after, actually. I think it was maybe 2014. They did announce an omnibus, Volume 1 of an omnibus, Fantastic Force by Jason Byrne, Volume 1. And at the time, I wasn't interested in it. I think it was a mixture of burnout from Marvel, and I was also thinking, well, there's no assurance they will do a Volume 2. I think another thing was a lot of the recent omnibuses had been torture for me. I thought they only put good things in omnibuses, and I bought most of them on that belief, and had been saddled with absolute unreadable rubbish. And that is coming from someone who had Secret Wars II as one of their first omnibuses. There was also a sentiment that the omnibus was going to be outdated in about a year, because the Masterworks were starting that run. So why get the omnibus when the Masterworks will have far better restoration? R.I.P. Masterworks. They did finish that run at least. They finished that one. Rest in peace. In the end, I didn't like this issue much. It felt like a fill-in, and there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is that I don't think it is a very good fill-in. Other than some okay writing up of Mr. Fantasticals and the return of Lorraine Riley, there's nothing that interesting in here. We have a great villain who is off-panel for 20 pages, while we watch these dull elemental agents with no personality not really do anything exciting. The closest we get to something that felt special was Human Fire battling the Fire Elemental. And it is not the first time we have seen Human Fire battle Summit or someone else with similar fire abilities. And then we have a really pointless guest appearance from Doctor Strange. He really is not needed here. It's pointless. I said that. This is the definition of a pointless appearance. He does nothing. He stands around as a plot device for 2 panels to explain how Mr. Fantasticals was able to locate Devil. After this, there is an Iron Man issue that picks up on things. A fill-in issue of Iron Man by Slurms Mackenzie, issue 150 something. Devil is the villain. I reviewed it and it is actually pretty excellent. Maybe that set my expectations for this issue higher than they should have been. So, nah, I don't recommend it. There is some promise, but there is also some dog shit in there. Invisible Wife got a haircut, that's good. That is one of the best things in here. And that was ruined with the dialogue. I think this is the sort of issue I actually hate reading. It's something I was really wanting to like, and then it flopped dead about 8 or 9 pages in. This may be the beginning of a run, but it shouldn't be judged based on what good things may follow it. This is a very weak and even unremarkable issue. Outside of a single panel of Mr. Fantasticals' lab, his artwork is even a bit crappy. So that makes this a 7 thumbs up.